Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the British Hurricane Mark IV sitting at 2.0 battle rating. And yes, finally we're out of the Soviets for now. I have, of course, rank 5 is on the way. It's in the progress of being edited. I've worked on it the last few days. I still have to make the sound though, but my voice has been a little bit under the weather for the last few days. But it's getting better, so I'm gonna try to work on that soon, and it should be out in the coming days, basically. We still have one in the pipeline for the Soviets, and then it's completely back to the British. But fantastic to be flying something else and to be flying props again. And I've already flew a few of them. The Mark II trop and this one and the Mark I late, but I got some really interesting matches in this one, and I have not made a review on this one yet. So the 2B and the other ones, I pretty much all reviewed them, but not this one. So I thought, okay, let's use this footage and let's show the magnificent beast that the 40mm Hurricane actually is at 2.0 battle rating. It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of shenanigans, a lot of explosions, a lot of boom. Planes go boom when they get hit by this plane. So yeah, very much fun to be had, and interesting plane to fly. Regular Hurricane with all the things it has, the ruggedness, the maneuverability and all that jazz. At least the sustained turn time and the decent performance in other areas. But this kind of stuff is just priceless, right? Shoot off two wings at the same time. Awesome, awesome. Now, before we go into the details of this plane, if you enjoyed the video anywhere along the line, do make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and do join me on Locals and Rumble. These will be two new platforms where I will be on. Rumble will be my backup channel for if YouTube decides that they want to get rid of us for some reason. And Locals will be the place where I will share some more personal content, and the place where you will be able to support me financially if you would want to. It's not set up completely yet. Locals, Rumbles is up and running, but I'm still working on Locals. It's always a little bit of effort to get a new site under your belt and make it work. Anyway, let's get into this Hurricane, because this is so much fun, so much explosions. The maximum speed in this thing is 393 without web, 438 with web on the deck. At 4,500 meters, still go up to 353 without and 395 with web. And finally, at 6,500 meters, she can take you to 338 with and 352 without. Now, this is not particularly fast usually, you would say, but this Hurricane sits at 2.0. And you get down tiers into, well, 1.0. So it's fast at that battle rating, and in down tiers. In up tiers, not so much, but... And there's, of course, still planes that can outspeed you. As the Hurricanes are not naturally known for their amazing speeds, but it's definitely not a slow plane at this battle rating. Top speed in a dive is 627 before she redlines, and 670 before she rips apart. Is that the effective dive speed? Well, it is in a sense, because the control stiffening on this thing only ticks in at 500 kilometers an hour for the ailerons, at 600 for the second tick there, becomes a little bit more severe. The elevator stays functional up until it crashes, but you know what the problem is with this thing? It doesn't roll very well. It rolls below average, so you start off with bad roll rate. You have these big guns that really don't help the roll rate in that sense. And yeah, I might have missed the first tick, and it might have been at 400 already, but I just started to notice something at 500, which is quite late for a plane this early in battle rating. So, and I think I remember some Hurricanes having some compression in there a little bit earlier, but yeah, it might be because of the setup of this plane when it comes to that. Might be. The stall speed in this plane is 115 kilometers an hour, which is actually quite decent. The firepower is excellent. As I said, these guns are fantastic. It's armed with two 40mm Vickers S cannons with 15 rounds per gun, and that is supported by two 7.7mm Browning machine guns with 338 rounds per gun, which is all pretty cool, man. I used air targets on this one for the Vickers, They are completely composed of high explosive fragmentation incendiary tracer shells. So it's the same shell, it's all high explosive, it's great. The armor targets is completely armor piercing, and the default belt is a combination of 50-50 AP and high explosive. So those three belts are all usable, and you can use them accordingly. The 7.7s, I use stealth on those with API and incendiary rounds. Tracer belt is also doable on this thing with a tracer shell and an API shell. And universal you can also use with a tracer, an armor piercing, then 2 APIs and an incendiary shell. Now the default is not very usable, it has ball ammo in it, and that is just not what you want in this plane. Bombs, rockets and guns are the options for ordnance. So you have a choice, either these 40mm guns, or you get some rockets, or you get some bombs. And I would always take these guns. It's the shenanigans in the plane, it's the fun of this plane, so why would you take anything else? But you can take the bombs, of course. Or the rockets might be handy in ground derby, who knows. Acceleration in a straight line and in a dive is decent. The energy retention in the horizontal is average. In the vertical it's below average. This is quite a heavy Hurricane with these big guns and a lot of ammo. And she just doesn't do great in the vertical, loses a lot of speed there as well. Climb rate in this plane is bad. But it does get an air start, and on these lower battle rating maps, which are usually small, the air start compensates for the bad climb rate, so you do get above people in the end anyway, on most small maps. So that's great. Turn time is decent, good with flaps. The flaps rip off at around 340 kilometers an hour. The roll rate is below average, unfortunately. It doesn't roll great, it's one of its downsides. So the overall maneuverability with decent to good turn time and below average roll rate is average. You do have some overheating in this plane as well, which is present with web especially. If you don't use web, it's very difficult to overheat this plane. It's no problem managing it either, by the way. It does cool off quite easily, so it's not a big problem to cool this thing off. Durability in the plane is good. It can take quite a bit of damage. Hurricanes in general have that quality. It's just a sturdy plane. I've always liked the Hurricanes for their rugged nature. Repair cost in this one is on the higher side at this battle rating 2.0. 1547 Silver Lions for a full repair is, yeah, like I said, it's one of the higher planes. There's a few that are higher in the game at 2.0, but most of them are actually lower than 1547. The rewards in the plane are above average for both. 236% multiplier for the research points and 120% multiplier for the Silver Lions. These are, as I said, both quite alright and above average for both when you compare them to the planes in other nations. So yeah, it's quite nice. And it is not a Hurricane that you have to be afraid to fly or anything because of the difficult guns or anything. They shoot quite nice on distances between 200 and 600 meters. No problem with these shells. It's awesome. At the longer ranges you get more RNG involved and it's going to be more difficult. But as you see, they fly quite straight. They do drop off, of course, at the longer ranges. But and that makes it more difficult to aim them then, but I found them quite straight and honest when it comes to the spread of these two guns. So that makes them quite reliable for shooting. Usually you only need one ranging shot and you get the second one on target. Or you get the first one already because of their just destructive power. If you hit anything, it's usually dead. So there is that. Now what should you do in this plane? Well, you get an air start and that sets you off to your preferred place, and that is the boom and zoom roll. Boom and zooming in this plane is absolutely enjoyable, but you do have to well, you know, Be a little bit patient and be careful when planes come from above. Sometimes you just have to take risk like here. This BF-109 definitely had more energy than me, so I did have to take him out. But head-ons in this plane are not really good. It's just not reliable enough, these two guns, so you can't shoot them consistently. So the other one is shooting, the other guy is shooting at you, and you are just shooting off, lobbing off those big shells. Takes a couple of seconds. So yeah, now it's not great for head-ons, but for the rest, if you are in a pickle, then you can try to take somebody out. And it works surprisingly often as well. So I'm not complaining about the plane, I have to say. But I did take more damage in this second match than in the first match, and I did have some more problems with the ranging. That first match I flew, that first ace, was actually also my first match. And this one was the third match. In the second match I had 2 kills or something. But yeah, it was devastatingly frightening, this plane, to fly it again and to see how much damage it can do. It's just awesome. And as you get proficient with these guns, I think you could be scoring monster scores in this thing. Of course, things have to, you know, roll in a smooth way. You have to get everything to fall your way when it comes to that, but it happens. It happens. Taking off the wing, yeah. But anyway, boom and zoom roll is the main roll, and I would say it's also a turn fighter. It has quite a nice sustained turn circle. You just don't want to make it a rolling fight. It has to be sustained turning. Is what you want to do in this plane. Another 5 kills in this match. That is good and lovely. Let's see what we got. Quite a few special rewards. We got soft landing, and I think that is final blow, survivor, best squad, and terror of the sky. 28,000 silver lions and 7,000 research points. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. The Hurricane Mark IV is definitely my favorite Hurricane. And why? Because it has shenanigans. It has 2 40mm cannon that are just badass. And it's nice to fly around with them, cause explosions, and just have people go boom. That's the main thing of this plane, the guns that are different. And the battle rating that comes with it. I think many beginning pilots, they don't know what to do with these guns, they can't land them. And this plane performs much worse than the other ones accordingly, and Gaijin bases battle ratings on performance in general. So the other two, the Mark 1 late and the Mark 2B trop, they sit at 2.3 battle rating. Now we do have a Sea Hurricane at 2.0 as well, but this battle rating is just that tiny bit nicer to stay out of the 3.3 battle rating range. For the rest, it's a Hurricane. You can expect anything a Hurricane gives you, but I like this Hurricane. It gives you nice performances, and it is just a joy with these guns, man. Let's be honest. It's all about them big guns and getting those shells to land. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.